We are just about set to go. Scott Squires once again joining me is Brian Ray. And Brian, I don't know if England is perhaps any more familiar with these conditions than Canada, but it is wet, it is damp. But you know, some great draining on this Wanderers grounds. The field actually looks pretty good.
Yeah, it does look in good condition. Both teams will be very familiar with playing in this kind of weather. They say weather is the great equalizer, but both teams, they were equal as it was, but you'd have to say these kind of conditions do favor England's kicking game somewhat. We saw the disparity between the two sides in that department the other day, so you would think that England will look to plug the corners. They got Lucy Atwood with her left boot. We saw her faring pretty well the other day when she switched to fly half, so we'll have to think that she'll be looking for the corners in this one, try and take advantage of their strong line out.
So Canada, as you see, wearing their very familiar bright Canadian reds. They're going left to right on your screen. They're going to kick off to this England U20 squad. They are wearing their all England whites, going right to left. A hearty crowd on hand here at the Wanderers grounds, and we are underway from Halifax. Right away, England. And it'll be interesting to see what kind of situation we'll find with ball handling. You know that any kind of passing, offloads, even the kicking game could be affected here today, Brian.
Yeah, certainly the handling becomes more difficult in this kind of weather. You just have to shorten up your passes a little bit. It's all about accuracy today. You've got to protect the ball. Players have got to know that. I mean, you want that every game, but especially in a day like this, you can't have loose balls going away either by passing or hitting the deck. So they'll just have to be extra careful in that department.
So you just saw that kick from England skitter down the field, and waiting for it there was Sophie de Goody for Canada, and I think it even caught her off guard. The way it hit the grass, it kind of picked up speed and probably went about another 10 meters.
Yeah, just kind of spun as it hit the grass. Didn't bounce at all. Not a lot of give out there because of the dampness out there. So that's something for the back three, and de Goody, if she's going to be playing back there, to be aware of. Canada today picking Annie de Goody at fullback, and they've also moved Brooke Bazian, who was at fullback earlier in this tournament, to wing. So they're definitely anticipating the kicking game.
Nice tackle there from Sarah Beckett, the 8 for this England squad, and that ball up high into the air. Nice catch by the number 11 for England, Lillian Stoger Goddard. And now England has possession. They work it over toward the middle of the pitch on the Canada side of the midfield stripe. Just underway here, about a minute and a half into this first half. It's Canada, it's England, U20 action in the Tri-Nations Cup from the Wanderers grounds. It's a wet one, but a hearty crowd. Actually, Brian, seeing all the colorful ponchos and umbrellas over there kind of adds to the flavor here at the Wanderers grounds.
Yeah, it's a pretty neat scene, and kudos to them for showing up. The few hundred we've got here. There's quite almost a couple thousand tickets, I believe, sold for this, but a few people just shying away with the rain as it's coming down here.
And they are loud, the fans that are here. So penalty against England, so they've got to back off 10 meters. Canada now will look to kick it out for touch.
LaValle a little bit conservative with her kick, but it's hard to see from where I'm at. Looks like she's missed touch.
And a Canadian player went up into the air, kind of spinning over the top of the pile. That was Idia Yesikan.
Big pressure from Val Wiedeski at the breakdown there. She just got cleared off, but she's had a couple big hits already.
That ball, well, it looks like both teams are almost trying to test with the kicking game here. So a quick ball spun across there from number 15 for Canada. That was Annie Kennedy. Kennedy, of course, a local product from Nova Scotia, plays down in Acadia. And another advantage here, I believe. Let's see what the call is.
Knock on. England's knocked on. It'll be a scrum to Canada. Good kick response there from Kennedy. She's got an amazing story. A couple years ago, she was in the hospital for 19 days with a very serious illness. I mean, her parents flew out. They were very concerned. Luckily, she's made a full recovery. She was out of the game for months, if not the best part of a year. And here she is a couple years later playing for Canada on very familiar territory. So really incredible to see her out there. Nice to see her get a good start.
Yeah, that's a tremendous story. There's no question about it. So we've got a scrum down to our right at that 22-meter mark. We'll see what happens in these scrums. It's going to be tough sledding out there in terms of the slick turf. So we'll see who might be able to kind of assert their dominance in those scrums. Going down to ground there for Canada, that was Sasha Geddes,
There's an offside penalty against England. You can see England already getting the shove on at the scrum. They've brought in Hannah Boderman today. This is her first appearance of the tournament. She's already been capped twice at senior international level against Canada on the tour in November. So that's we'll see how she goes. She's been nursing a shoulder injury, but looks like their scrum is working well so far. That was a good push. But Canada on the attack here. This is a good attacking line out. They just have to be accurate, hit their jumper, and they'll probably go for a line out drive in these conditions.
So these two teams played down in Wolfville not that long ago. England got out big early, but Canada had a very good second half. And you and I commented toward the end of that broadcast that we were looking forward to seeing these two teams hook up again because Canada really seemed to get it going toward the end of that game. And speaking of get it going, there's a big run there for England's number 3, Hannah Boderman, as he charged ahead and got about 10 meters.
Yeah, there's the strength of Boderman. You can see it there. She plays with Saracens in England, one of the premier clubs in that division. At 19 years old, and she's just an exceptional talent already. But that'll be big disappointment for the Canadian staff. They will want to put more pressure, and that was kind of just an easy giveaway. They've got to do a better job of protecting the ball in those kind of situations.
And I want to give big kudos to our camera operator, Brian Fisher, today. He's in full, I guess, target by the rain. He's actually got a garbage bag partially over his head right now. I wish we could get a shot of him to show, but great work by Brian, bringing you all of the pictures here. And here's a good run up the middle by number 8, Sarah Beckett. She had a great game the other day against USA, and she's off to a good start here. Now, there's England again, so comfortable using the kicking game. Trying to run onto it was Stoger Goddard.
Well played by Kennedy to rope that ball in, but looks like she's just knocked it on a little bit, picking it up, so it'll be a scrum to England and a good attacking position for them. But there's the kicking game that we've talked about just as before the game. England will really use that a lot, I would think, today. Atwood's got quite a good left boot on her, and she'll be playing with familiar players, all Bristol at 10, 12, and 13 for England, so they'll know each other very well. They've got Murray moved into 12, Tuima at 13, so there certainly won't be any miscommunications out there.
Well, you mentioned some of the club players for this England side. I had a chance to talk to Nikki Ponsford. She's the manager of performance for this England U20 side, and she said that probably 10 or 11 of the top club teams from England are represented on this squad, so a very talented England side.
Absolutely. They've got their Premier 15s competition, which is being turned into a professional one at some point. It might not be this season, it might be next season, but it's definitely in the works. So that's a big lift for not only women's rugby in Canada, or in England rather, but women's rugby around the world to have another professional women's competition. It's certainly gaining traction over there.
So a scrum down here, fairly deep in the Canadian side of the pitch. Just about 6:40 gone by, as you can see.
There's the England scrum earning a penalty. They're just very strong in that tight 5. Let's see what they do here. Will they look for the scrum, or will they take the corner and look for the line out?
Well, they seem so comfortable with the kicking game. I think they're just going to do that. And
there they go.
Yeah, that's Lucy Atwood with just the little punt kick forward.
Atwood takes the corner. They'll look for probably number 5, Holly Cunningham. She's been their primary target throughout this tournament in the line out, so maybe look for her to get up here and set up the line out drive.
Well, I don't want to get too excited, but the sky's brightening just a little bit, but I'll hold our breath. Some would say perfect rugby weather, Brian. That line out, that ball zipped into the line out, taken well, and so far it doesn't seem that the teams are having much of a problem hanging on to the ball. The ball handling doesn't seem to be an issue, at least not at this point, as we're just over 7.5 minutes into this first half. Here's a good push now.
Alicia Harper with the ball there at the bottom.
Kind of a half, and while I wasn't sure if they were trying to maul the ball or if it was going to go down to ground for a ruck. England gets it up off there, though, trying to give a push from behind as Rosie Galligan for England. And are they in? And they are.
It's actually a penalty here. It'll be a penalty on the 5. Stopped just short.
Thought they were in. I thought when I saw the referee's hand go up.
Atwood takes the line out again. So they hit Galligan at the last throw. Will they keep it there, or will they hit Cunningham? But you know, their tactics are clear. They're gonna try and maul this one over. Last time they just got a little bit sloppy. That's why Harper went to deck, but I would think they'll try and keep this one up this time.
So Bartlett will put it in, and a long throw taken well there again, and there's the maul. So very good at this is England. Canada tries to push it around just a little bit, but England pushes forward. Good thrust there. Canada
like
trying to regroup defensively.
Looked like Canada was defending well. I'm interested to see what the call is here. England is on advantage, so there will be a penalty if they don't score.
Good ball spun across there by the scrum half Vivas. Lucy Atwood handled it well. And again, now England will try it the other way. This is Perry, Elena Perry. Good pressure here by England. Canada bending, but haven't broken as of yet. There's another run now. This is Galligan. Several of these England players getting a chance to push forward with that ball.
Good stick from Idia Ihensikin there.
Now they'll come.
Defense is playing well, actually. They're getting up in their face. They're making the tackles. They're stopping them on the gain line.
We'll try the other side, and an opening there as all of a sudden the line seemed to break down. England saw something over to the right, I believe, and got the ball pitched out. And it was Phoebe Murray who really had nowhere to go but into the end zone, no one in front of her.
And here we've got a yellow card coming to Harley Tucker. Interesting, no warnings at all. He must have, the referee must have decided that she collapsed the maul in a scoring position, so hence the yellow card. So she'll sit for the next 10 minutes. And with Canada down to 7 forwards, England predictably go for the scrum on the 5. They'll try to go, you'd have to think they'll go for the pushover here.
So that penalty negated the play that had happened previously. So here we go with England again. They've been knocking on the door here for a few minutes. Canada hasn't allowed it to be opened as of yet, but now with them losing a player to the sin bin, they are down a forward and have got to deal with this England scrum. Getting down low is Vivas. And there's the push. And can they get that ball pushed over?
Advantage to England, and it's going to be a penalty try. No option there.
So the penalty try, if that is indeed the case, that's an automatic 7.
7 on the board for England. Canada going backwards. England got the shove on, and when the scrum goes down, it's very rare you're going to see any other call at this level other than a penalty try.
So with a penalty try, you get the 5, and you do not have to kick the convert. It's automatically 7 points. So England jumps out in front 7-0. And they've pretty much had pressure on Canada for the last 3 or 4 minutes, Brian. A couple of times I thought they were in. The penalty to Canada as Harley Tucker gets the yellow. She's in the sin bin. So the penalty try has England up by a score of 7-0.
Well, here you see the importance of maintaining possession. Canada with that scoring position earlier down in the lineout. They just gave the ball away, and England went the length of the field and just kept the pressure on until they got points. They've just got to do a better job of holding on to the ball.
So the ball just to our right on that kickoff to England. And they've got a line out here. Just outside the 22-meter line.
Rain pouring down here again. We thought we were getting a break. No such luck.
But as yet, it certainly hasn't seemed to affect both sides when it comes to their ball handling. They seem quite fine with this rain. And look at this maul form now as England pushing it kind of to the left. There's a big hit is coming in. There was Mackenzie Carson. She tried to make the tackle. I think the ball came loose for a minute. And now the referee calls it again.
Side entry at the breakdown. Canada just in danger of giving away too many penalties early in this game. They've already got 1 in the bin. If they get another warning soon, then they're going to be in deep trouble. They don't want to lose 2 players.
This kick high into the air, and there you see it. It can be tough to handle that ball. It bounced off the shoulder of Brooke Bazian, but Canada does a good job to recover. Now they'll try to work with some speed to board the middle of the field.
Asia Hogan, she's the track and field convert from Central Tech. Good turn of speed. We just got to get her in space first, though.
So Canada will try to work it to the other side now.
And there's a penalty for side entry against England this time. So the referee being consistent, he wants to see the players come from their own side at the breakdown. Canada get a break here, and Lavallee will try and pick up space. She doesn't want to miss touch like she did the last time. She's made it this time.
Just right in front of our broadcast position here. Thank goodness we are under a canvas tent covering, although the way that the wind is kind of going, a little bit of wetness coming in, but overall we're pretty covered here. I look down and I see some of the officials on the sideline, and I'm not sure how they're feeling about the rain here today. So there's the lineup, goes off the fingertips, trying to get in there to get the pick was Amelia Harper for England. She almost got a hand on it.
First mistake from England at the line out. That'll hand a scrum 15 to England, or Canada rather. But, again, with still 7 forwards, England will put huge pressure on at the scrum here.
And I'm not sure what device you might be watching the live stream on, if you've got it on a phone, a laptop, or if you've got it put up to a big screen TV with a HDMI cable or whatever. But I'm hoping you can see just how steady and full the rain is coming down right now. These two teams are soaked, but they carry on. Great drainage here at the refurbished Wanderers grounds.
It was Maddie Gold taking it on, just making an extra meter on the deck. And here is DeGoody, the inspirational captain. She's been a little quiet in this one, but Canada just hasn't had the ball, so it's hard for her to get into the game if she doesn't get any opportunities.
Yeah, she's the captain of this Canadian squad, Sophie DeGoody, 8 in red. Keep an eye on her. If she can get it going, she can light a fire under her Canadian teammates. We've seen her do it before. Here comes Canada now. A nice run there by Keegan Brantner.
Kennedy there stepping into first receiver. She's played a lot of fly half. She's actually selected as a fly half into the squad, plays there with Acadia, so certainly very comfortable with injecting herself into the line as she did there, so that's a good option for Canada.
So 7-0 is your score.
Interesting. The scrum here, they're opting for the scrum with only 7 forwards instead of the lineout. That's an interesting call from Canada. I guess they like the attacking platform at this point in the field.
So right on the midfield mark is where this scrum will take place for Canada. They trail by 7. Both teams dealing with the wet conditions here, but overall it really doesn't seem to have hindered them on either side. That's where you sometimes see it be tricky when the ball hits the turf. It's not really taking a true bounce as it would if it were dry. Here's a good run now coming down. That was Bazian as she gets ahead.
That's a tricky one. You know, as a winger, you see some space and you want to back yourself, but on a day like this, it's really hard to get around the corner, and you're going to slide as soon as you hit the deck. So it's, it's a big gamble, and as you can see, it's easy for the defense to just drive you into touch. So I'm not sure that was the right decision. She might want to have cut back in field just to keep the play alive.
So a towel to give that ball a wipe. I'm not sure how much that's going to help, but why not give it a try? Bartlett again with the line out here for England. Throw taken well there by England. And now a maul forms. Let's see if England can push it forward here. Starts to break down. Referee keeping a close eye on it. Right in the middle of that is Rosie Galligan for England. And now it's picked out by Rivas. Here comes England with some pace across midfield. Good tackle there as Murray was taken down for England.
Hard line for Murray. That's what you want in the midfield, just to get some go forward. Here's Boderman again showing her strength in the tackle.
That was great hands there by Boderman. That ball was behind her. She had to reach back with her left hand and kind of catch it behind her body. Good job there. Good tackle on that far side. So Canada showing some good aggression here. They've been good recovering defensively. They haven't been really giving England much time and space. Anytime an England ball carrier makes a move forward, the Canadian defense has been doing a pretty good job of recovering and getting to where the ball is and stopping any forward progress. And again, you'll see Team England use that kicking game time and again to their advantage.
Here's an unfortunate call. So it was knocked on. I think that was Kennedy back there. Just dropped the ball forward, and DeGoody was in front of her. So that's an offside penalty for playing the knock on. If it's knocked on by your teammate, you can't play it in front of her, and that's what happened there. So it's just a natural reflection to pick up or reaction to pick up the loose ball, but you have to have discipline there, and they've conceded the penalty. England take the line out, and again, they'll get their drive going here again. We've already seen it a number of times, and they'll be doing that all day. No secret to what England is trying to achieve here.
So as you can see in the upper left corner, a little over 18 minutes has gone by in this first half. 7 points on the board. They belong to England in this final game of the 4-game Tri-Nations Cup Series with Canada, England, and the United States.
Ball slips through Cunningham's fingers, but England still have it.
England will pick it off there quickly. They're so good at getting that ball off the ground and moving it ahead. This was Cunningham. She got the first touch. Now they'll work it back the other way. Good job there, a bobble by Galligan, but she had the presence of mind to grab that ball and spin with it. Now they'll ruck over the top, picked off there by Vivas. She rolls it back, picked off the ground, a bobble there. Ball's loose.
By White.
Good pressure. It's a knock-on from England. That'll be a scrum to Canada. They'll be happy about that. And we should be getting pretty close. I think we've just got about 40 seconds left in the yellow card to Harley Tucker. So if they can just kill that off, they'll be back to full strength, and then they can look to attack this England side.
Yeah, Canada short-handed right around the point where England got their first try, but it'll be good for Canada to get Harley Tucker back out on the field and get back to even strength in this game as we approach the 20-minute mark of this first half. Scott Squires, Brian Ray with you. Brian Fisher is our camera operator and technical producer here today at the Wanderers grounds in Halifax, Nova Scotia. And here's a good run now. Who did we say to keep an eye on? Number 8, DeGoody. The captain with a nice run there for Canada. Now they'll spin that ball to the right side. Trying to get some support from behind there was Duguid for Canada. Duguid gets it down. She looks to release and get it back, and she does. Geddes now. Canada with some good movement here. They've crossed well into the England side of the pitch. Now they'll try to use some passes to go down the line. Stripped there was Duguid, and the ball comes free.
See what the call is here. It's a penalty against England, but we haven't had a secondary, so I'm not entirely sure what this call is, but the referee is having a word. It looks like it's an offside warning, and he's spoken to the captain, Phoebe Murray, there. So England now on a warning.
And that ball goes out to touch just in front of us.
Not exactly the trajectory that she wanted on that kick, but it has made the sideline, so Canada will have the attacking line. That was just an amazing run by DeGoody off the back of that retreating scrum.
Yeah,
unbelievable.
Yeah, before 30. No, she can come on, it's okay.
You know, typically, here's Harley Tucker back from a yellow card, so Canada back at full strength. They only conceded the original 7 points right away, so that's good defense from Canada to come out of that. They had almost a full, 9.5 minutes to get more points, and they held them off.
20.5 off the clock. Good line out there by Canada, taken well.
That was Tucker straight away.
They'll swing it over. Here's DeGoody, the captain. Nice little offload there into the hands of the flanker, Courtney Holtkamp.
Holtkamp had a great game for them last week, and she's showing well already.
Geddes got that ball started. Now Canada some quick passing down the line. Again, the rain not affecting ball handling for either side, really. We've seen a couple of bobbles, but nothing more than you'd see in a dry day.
Well, there was a turnover there for England, and now they're on attack.
Canada working that ball, but they turn it over, and now England jump on top of it quickly as the referee stops the play.
And that's great pressure from Val Wadesky, the big number 3 for Canada. She has been just all over the place near the contact area. She's smashing into the breakdown. She had a couple big hits. That one, the England player just got the pass away before she got smoked by Wadesky. So that's another big win for the Canadian defense. Now here they are. They're still on their own end. So Canada just doesn't have that kicking game to plug it down into the corner, which is what they want to do. But they'll try and get their midfield in here to try and get through that England line, maybe with Maddie Gold in the center.
Out of this scrum, Canada looking to pick it out of there, and they do. Now they'll work it down to the left line. Fake pass there. Nice little fake from LaValle. Canada gets it up again, and here they come forward one more time. Bazian, she's had a couple of good runs here for Canada, 14 in red. Nice little scoop off the turf there. Good reception of that pass. It was spun over. DeGoody did a good job to get hands under it. And DeGoody got plowed under. And a penalty against England.
Galligan not rolling away fast enough. That was the call there.
And that's knocked on. Unfortunate there.
But Canada was on advantage. England weren't 10 at the penalty. LaValle going quick and putting pressure on them, so they've got another penalty here. Now what will they do? Will they kick for the corner and look for the line out? You have to think that would be the call here if they can do that. And that's what LaValle will do.
22:50 off the clock, approaching 23 minutes played here in this first half.
So Canada have been here before earlier, but they gave the ball away really easily. So they've just got to, maybe hit the front jumper and control the ball, get the drive on, and either earn a penalty to get them a little bit closer or just wear down that England pack a little bit who've been pushing them around in the scrum.
There's the lineup, goes off the fingertips at the top toward the back of the line, but works for Canada. Nice job there picking that one out of the air by Maddie Gold. Maddie Gold had a fantastic try in this game, in their game against England the other day. And here's Canada now. The crowd erupts. They're so close down there. You could hear the crowd erupt in excitement as Canada pushed that ball forward as Brantner had a nice run. So they've got something cooking down here in the corner, Brian.
Knocking on the door. England under massive pressure. Can they hold Canada out? This would be huge if they could score here. You can't imagine this is going to the backs in this position. They'll just pick and drive until they get over the line.
And they're in.
See if they can get the number.
The crowd tells the story. Canada has broken the ice. They are on the board. And the crowd celebrates the first try of the game for Team Canada. Now we'll try and get the number.
Try is given. I'm not sure who that was. It might have been Courtney Holtkamp from in close, but very difficult to see with that angle. Just a massive bodies.
Yeah, that angle for us is over in the far right corner. Very difficult to pick the number out of there. As you said, just a mass of players down there. So we'll try and get confirmation of the Canadian player who scored that try. So we're looking to get some confirmation on the Canadian player who got the try, but the fans don't care. They're just happy that Canada got points, Brian.
Number 8, Sophie DeGoody.
So Sophie DeGoody, well, we mentioned that she is a leader in many ways on this team and certainly emotionally is one, but she can also be a leader with her play on the field, and we saw it right there. Canada had that good push going very close to the goal line, and they make it count. Here's the conversion try now, and just a little to the left.
Tough angle there for Lavalle. So 7-5 the score to England, but that's a big boost to Canada now. They're right in this game. They've, to only concede one try with so much pressure at their end is really very, very good for them. So they'll feel good now. They just got to remember at this restart, they just got to control the ball and get their exit right, because you have to think that England will kick deep and put pressure on them.
Let them hear ya, Halifax!
So again, Mother Nature teasing us a little here with the skies brightening and the rain holding up just a little bit. Kickoff to Canada. That ball turned over, and it's England now with possession. Working our way into the late stages of this first half. As you can see, almost 26.5 minutes played here. 2-point lead for England. The difference, a conversion. That ball bounces off the hands of the England player.
Wadecki again coming hard, putting up pressure on England.
England, we'll see now what they can do here.
Good pressure from Abby Duguid this time.
Perry pushes it forward for the English Rose. Now they'll use that kicking game. Nice left-footed boot. And everybody in chase now, trying to get there first, and it is Canada.
Canada just left a little too much space back there for that left boot.
Nice ball spun toward the middle. A little more progress here for Canada. I think Canada wise to the kicking game of England. They know what's coming. And as soon as they see England get ready to kick that ball, Canada ready to give chase because they don't want it to get in behind them and allow England to run onto it and get the advantage.
So I think that pass actually hit the referee, so he's just going to give a scrum to Canada here. England had a player down there. I wasn't quite sure if it hit her or if it hit the referee, but it is a scrum to Canada. Let's see where the mark is. If it's inside or outside the 22, that'll kind of maybe dictate what their tactics are. If
We're
it's
inside.
inside the 22, they can clear directly to touch, but if it's outside over that line, then they've got to bounce the ball before it reaches the touch line. So it looks like the mark is just inside, so they'll be able to kick that straight over the touch line.
So we've got a bit of a break here while they attend to an England player. Can't see the number from here. I believe it might be number 7, Charlie Wilcock. So we'll step aside, take a quick break. You're watching Tri-Nations Rugby. It's England leading Canada 7-5. Back to the Wanderers grounds in just a few minutes.
From the Patagonian Plains to the Canadian Shield, we are the new face of mining. We're innovators and game changers. We're safe, diverse, and respectful. We're driven. We empower our people to power our company. We are Gold Coast.
Back with you, the injured player taken care of. We're set to restart one more time.
Canada's done well. They've been under pressure from England at the scrum, but they've done well to clear the ball. So we'll see if DeGoody picks out the back or if they just go straight to Lavallee to try and clear this. Oh, against the head, England have won this.
They did a good job. They pushed that scrum about a meter or so, but there's a turnover. Well taken there by Canada on that far side as Asia Hogan had it kicked into her midsection, or put into her midsection almost, and she did a great job to hang on.
Yeah, it was a mistake by Phoebe Murray. I'm not exactly sure what she was thinking. She might have thought she saw some space in behind, but from there you had to keep the ball in hand.
Canada now moving the ball quickly. Nice cut up the middle there, but a good tackle from England's number 1, Elena Perry.
Canada just isolated in the tackle. I think it was Lavallee who went to deck, and England over the ball quickly, and they've earned the penalty. So you have to think with Atwood's boot, they'll take the points, and that's what they do. Her trusty left boot, she had some very, very nice kicks against the United States the other day, and this should be automatic for a kicker of her quality from this position.
You just gave her the broadcaster's jinx. You know that, right, Brian?
I hope so.
Hey, now we can't be biased. We've got lots of our English friends over in the UK watching.
I am wearing my Rugby Canada hat, if that gives anything away.
All right. I'll try to balance it out. So here is Lucy Atwood. As you said, just a quality kicker. She's a lefty, so it'll be the left-footed boot here to put England up by 5. Kick is up, well struck, and no problems for Atwood.
She wasn't listening to anything that I said. Perfect strike. She's a very impressive kicker, and we've seen that from all 3 of the players who've been at fly half for England. First it was Zoe Harrison, who I'm not exactly sure why she's not in today, but she's our senior international who played in the first match, but she's not out. Ellie Green as well on the bench today, a very good kicker, so no problems.
Canada 10-5.
So 10-5 is the lead. We've approached now full time in terms of the 30-minute half, but of course we are at the discretion of the referee. He can let it carry on as long as he likes. If he's out there enjoying the conditions, he might want to let him play for an extra 5 or 6 minutes.
I do believe they'll go another 10 with the full 40s today.
Oh, that's right. Yes, indeed.
You've been used to the age grade stuff all week.
Yes, I've been doing the Rugby Nationals in Wolfville, Nova Scotia all week.
That's right. At the under 16 and under 18 level,
That's
they play the
right.
short and halves.
I've lost track of how
Get a
many.
free pass on that one.
Thank you. I've done so many games of play-by-play in the last
red.
few days. I'm
Line
surprised
out
I'm not
white.
calling these teams Eastern Ontario and Nova Scotia.
There again, a great clearance kick from Atwood over the halfway line. That's exactly what you want in your exits.
So England up by 5, but Canada hanging tough here in this first half against a quality U20 English rugby side. Ooh, 50-50 ball there on that line out as Canada came over aggressively to try and steal it away. And now we've got a ruck. Who's going to get that out of there? And it's going to be England. Vivas swings it over. They kind of cross paths to the England ball carrier with one of her mates. A little bit of a cross up there to the Canadian defense. There's a charge ahead by Beckett.
They've keyed on Beckett today. They shut her down right at the gain line. That's a good stop.
Vivas again. And there's England, as they so often do. If things are bogging down on the front lines, they'll kick it away, and that's what can happen, especially if the ball's a little wet. So England does use the kicking game now to their advantage.
You can see Brooke Bazian took that straight on. She's got to turn her body, so if it bounces off her, it goes backwards, and it's not a knock-on as it was there.
Nice pass there as Atwood dumped it off to the right wing side. And here's a good run pushing forward is Abby Dow. And now all of a sudden England down very close as they look to threaten again. This is Perry. She's been hard to stop, and I think Perry has taken it in for another England try. So it was that kick and the bit of a bobble by Bazian, and England takes full advantage, and within about 30 seconds of that kick, working it in is Perry.
At this level, you can't afford to make mistakes like that. That's just a basic error. You've got to catch that ball, even though it's damp and rainy out there. But you've just got to get under it. You got to catch it, or at least knock it down on your own side, and not just give it back to England. So they'll be unhappy to give away points that easily.
And it's interesting that you say that, because we're doing, as I mentioned, we're down in Wolfville doing the Eastern National Rugby Championships, and Jack Hanratty, the coach of this U20 Canadian side, was watching some of the U16 age grade players, and that was one of the things he commented on, was getting them to learn, as you exactly just said, when they're receiving a kick, to kind of turn their body to the side, so if they bobble it or if it glances off them, it carries backward and they can still play it.
That's right. If it goes forward, you've got to let it go. We saw earlier DeGoody with the knock-on penalty for playing it in front of her player, but it's just about controlling that ball and bringing it, watching it into your chest, making sure you make it. If not, it just goes backwards.
So the conversion, no good. Score now 15-5. So England has extended their advantage to 10 points. And I'm sure with what you talked about there with Bazian on that kick, I'm sure that'll be a teaching point that the coaches will talk to her about.
Oh, absolutely. She'll see that video clip after the game for sure, and she won't be pleased about it. And she'll also see the one where she was driven into touch earlier. But, those are the things you have to learn at this level is it's a little bit different. The timing, there's less time to make decisions, there's more pressure, and there's less mistakes. So when you do make mistakes, it's just amplified at this level. So that's just something you've got to learn. And for a lot of these players, it's their first time playing at this level. So, something she'll learn, something she'll pick up, and something you've just got to put behind you really quickly in a game like this. Just move on and try and make up for it.
So a scrum right around the 22-meter mark on the England side of the pitch. England leading 15-5 as the rain once again starts to pick up.
That's a very good scrum from Canada. You hear the shouts for offside. England maybe up a little quickly.
That ball bobbled for a moment, but Canada able to pick it up now, and they'll move it to the right.
Nice footwork from Holtkamp.
She dug forward there. Holtkamp
Seven release.
got it off into the hands of DeGoody. Sophie works that ball up, and now a couple of quick passes here for Canada as they look to answer right back.
Yeah, Wadesky looking for the big bump off and contact, but she forgot to take the ball with her and just let it go. And we spoke about this at the beginning of the game. And on a day like this, you've got to protect the ball. You can't just give away freebies like that.
Mark.
So 35 minutes plus have been played here in half number one. This Tri-Nations Cup finale. Team Canada, Team England. The Maple Leaf of Canada, the English Rose for the England side. And a scrum here for England, Ella Vivas. And look how low, Brian, that scrum gets. They could almost lean over and bite some grass. They're down there so low.
Canada got the initial shove on, but here's a line break from Phoebe Murray.
That's a great run. Look at Murray looking for somewhere to pass it to. Now some quick passes, and this is Harper. Look at Harper going on the angle to the end zone. Good tackle as Bazian caught her from behind, but again, England just charges forward.
There we go. Bazian starting to make up for that mistake earlier. That's a terrific tackle and forces the knock on, and Canada will have a scrum. They'll get a chance to clear. So there you go. She'll feel a bit better about herself now.
And a good job by Bazian as well, because we mentioned handling the ball when it's wet, but also when you're tracking someone from behind and you got to try and wrap your arms around them and hang on to them when they're soaking wet, not easy to do. So good job by Bazian.
Absolutely. It's a tough job as a winger. You don't have to make a lot of tackles, but when you do, you've got to make them. If you don't, it's usually try time. So that's a great tackle for her. tracking back to get Harper, who's got a good turn of pace. She's probably the fastest forward out there. Wearing 6 for England, but lining up on the open side flank. That's really her position. She's all over the breakdown we've seen the last couple games.
Sasha Geddes, and I don't think the match official liked the way that scrum was set.
We saw Canada get the shove on at the last scrum, but England kind of absorbed it and then moved forward. But Canada just feeling a little bit more confident in there, maybe once they got back to full strength. But England must have been confident at the beginning, but they haven't been able to get that push on.
So there you see the bind and then the set. Always so important to go through those 3 phases of the scrum.
It's collapsed on the far side, but the referee says play on because it was at the back, and DeGoody just peels off and sets it up.
And Canada now will look to kick it out for touch, but it kind of angles up into the air, jumping to catch. That was Stoger Goddard. And now she'll make a run to her right, wrapped up there by Gold.
And they got the box kick away, but it was a little too far in field and not much chase on it, so they'll have to talk about that one at halftime, I would think.
Ball over on that far side now as England works it down to the corner. Canada has to regroup here on the defensive side. And that ball was spun over, but before anything else could happen, Boderman has to hold it, and the referee blows the whistle.
Mistake from England. They've knocked the ball on. They've done that a couple times under pressure, and that's, the Canadian defense. They're making big hits. Maybe England just peeking their eyes up at the defense instead of the ball. That's what those big hits do. And so Canada will have another chance to clear here. Only a couple minutes to halftime, so they don't want to concede points now. They're already 10 points down. So they can just, control the ball, maybe have DeGoody hit this one up and then clear and kind of ride out the half. They'll be okay. So
another scrum over on the far side of the field now, but it's Canada, and we'll have another stop. As you can see, 38-30 has come off here in this first 40-minute half. Want to say hello and welcome to Halifax, Nova Scotia, to all of our viewers via the live stream today, not only across Nova Scotia, but across Canada and literally across the world. I know we have a lot of folks across the pond in the UK watching us, Brian. We'll get to some of their tweets later on, but certainly glad to have you on the live stream broadcast, and hope you're enjoying this one as it's 15-5, England leading Canada in this Tri-Nations Cup finale.
There is DeGoody peeling off the back. Scrum's about even that time.
So that ball down, but Canada now will get it up. They'll try to work it to the left. Things kind of grind to a halt over there. Can't really see if that ball is rucked right now, but it comes up.
It's a penalty against England. Side entry. So we've seen England warned them, they can't give too many more penalties here away, or they're going to end up with one of the bean, but I'm a little surprised you didn't have another word with them then, because that's been a repeat penalty from England in this half.
That kick goes up into the crowd there as ponchos and umbrellas part ways like the Red Sea once upon a time. I think they threw the ball back, Brian, though.
Yeah. Nobody's going to take that one home from them. That would be a nice souvenir.
Yeah, those rugby balls are pretty sweet. That line out went over everybody, but Canada able to gather it up now, and they'll come forward.
It's an acrobatic play from Brentner there in the line out to keep that one.
We are at full time, so now completely the referee's discretion as to when he ends this one. Canada would dearly love to get points late here in extra time as LaValle tries to charge forward. Ball rucks. Canada gets it up, and there's a bobble knocked forward. And we'll see if the advantage here is to England. Ball is down, and they will play it down the line. Big hit there as Perry was tackled and brought down. Coming in to help out on the tackle was Carson for Canada. And now it's turned back the other way, but I think that was flipped up, and England.
Hensiken with the huge hit for Canada there.
England trying to dart through a crowd. Nice tackle. Dragging down the ball carrier was Courtney Holtkamp.
You see Langi Tuima took the worst of that collision with LaValle. She's down behind the play.
Yeah, Tuima, 13 in white for this England side. The Fijian feeling the after effects.
Abby Duguid blocks the kick from Atwood. We're on full time, so let's see if they're going to get the scrum. No, that's going to be halftime. But that's a tremendous defensive stand from Canada. A couple of huge hits in defense. Hensiken with a big one. Good pressure from Holtkamp. As you can see, so for England fans wondering, Tuima is down. It looks like she's just taken a knock to the head in that tackle, that collision with LaValle. I think that she's going to be coming off the pitch. Unfortunate for her, but Canada will take a lot of confidence out of that defensive stand right at the end of the half. They held them off. They go into the break 10 points down. That's not a bad place to be against a good England team.
So while we have a second here, I'm going to get your thoughts on that first half in just a second. I want to get to some of the tweets here because we do have such a great crowd, and they've been tweeting at us through all the games of this Tri-Nations Cup. We got Charlie Beckett saying at Jersey RFC final preseason game win, hoping that Beckett and England Rugby U20 girls can make it 3 for 3 on their tour today and make it a double winning day. Looking forward to the coverage with, of course, myself and Brian Ray. So, Charlie, how you doing, my friend? Hope you're enjoying your day. You must be happy so far. 15-5 for England over Canada. We also heard from Ewan, who's been in touch with us before. Oh, my goodness. Well, this sounds like a nice Saturday evening, sitting with a glass of wine, watching the final game of England-Canada, hoping for an exciting match. A big shout-out to the whole Bartlett clan, watching Leah Bartlett. And they're watching the weather in Canada as well from a nice warm seat at home. Thanks for rubbing it in, Ewan. No worries. I'm sure my camera operator, Brian, would love a nice glass of wine and a warm seat at home.
No vintage vineyard up here in the booth, unfortunately.
And we also had, oh, well, look who's joining us again, Jessica Breach.
Jess Breach.
Saying she was excited by the try with all caps and exclamation points. Well worked. Let's go, England Rugby U20s. Nice try, Elena Perry. And again, we thank you so very much for watching. And we'll take a quick break here in a moment, Brian. But anything surprise you in that first half, first of all, from the England side?
Not really. That's pretty much exactly the tactics we thought you would see. You thought they'd look to the corner. Atwood's just been plugging them, keeping Canada pinned back. And I don't think they'll change a thing in the second half. So it's up for Canada to make the adjustments. So we'll see what they do. I think the big talk of the at halftime will just be to relax and not make mistakes. They've given away too many freebies, too many knock-ons. So if they can just eliminate those mistakes, we'll see a lot closer second half.
So we've talked about the weather. Obviously, the conditions are what they are, raining heavily. Great drainage here at the Wanderers grounds, but the ball's going to be wet. The jerseys are going to be wet. We did see a few baubles, but overall, from what you've seen, did you see any real effect that the weather had on these two sides?
I mean, it's just in the tactics, but not really. Actually, they've done fairly well. The lineouts have been pretty good. A couple baubles, but nothing, any more than we might have seen on a hot, sweaty day, right? So, no, they've actually done very well considering the conditions. They've a lot of short passes have done well. They've kept that tight. They've been accurate in that department. So they have adjusted well to the weather. It is wet. It is really pouring down here, so we'll see how much that drags on into the second half, and we'll see if their concentrations levels stay high and they can eliminate those errors that we spoke about.
Well, we are at the half of this finale of the Tri-Nations Cup Series, this Women's U20 exhibition, and right now it is England leading Canada 15-5. We're going to step aside, take a break. Second half action coming your way in about 6 minutes and 56, 55, 54. We'll be back.
From the Patagonian Plains to the Canadian Shield, we are the new face of mining. We're innovators and game changers. We're safe, diverse, and respectful. We're driven. We empower our people to power our company. We are Goldcorp. From the Patagonian Plains to the Canadian Shield, we are the new face of mining. We're innovators and game changers. We're safe, diverse, and respectful. We're driven. We empower our people to power our company. We are Goldcorp.
As proudly brought to you by Goldcorp, official partner of Rugby Canada's national women's programs. DHL, official logistics partner of Rugby Canada. And by Canterbury, official kit partner of Rugby Canada.
From the Patagonian Plains to the Canadian Shield, We are the new face of mining. We're innovators and game changers. We're safe, diverse, and respectful. We're driven. We empower our people to power our company. We are Goldcorp. From the Patagonian Plains to the Canadian Shield, we are the new face of mining. We're innovators and game changers. We're safe, diverse, and respectful. We're driven. We empower our people to power our company. We are Goldcorp.
Welcome back. We are set for kickoff to get the second half underway. England now going left to right on your screen. Canada right to left. It's 15-5, and Canada gets set to receive the opening kickoff. Scott Squires, Brian Ray with you, and we're underway, Brian, second half action.
Early mistake from Canada, just dropping the kickoff. That's not what you want. Oh, geez, they would have just talked about in the locker room, and to have that happen right after the kickoff. That's going to frustrate the coaches. 2 changes we see out there for England. Langi Tuima went off with a shoulder injury. She's been replaced by Ellie Green. So Lucy Atwood moves to inside center. Phoebe Murray, number 12, moves to outside center. And Hannah Boderman has come off. She's been replaced by Ellie Mulhern, a tight head prop. Boderman was nursing a shoulder injury coming into this game, so not a big surprise that she's been pulled at half just to keep her a little fresh. You don't want to re-injure herself, push her too hard.
Here's a good run for England now. We certainly hope the best for Langi Tuima. They were actually working on her into the first few minutes of the halftime. They brought a tent out for cover, and she was really being careful with that shoulder. We don't want to speculate exactly what happened, but her day done. We wish her all the best. But as you mentioned, those replacements that you called are on, and we're underway here. Half 2, this 10-point England lead in the Tri-Nations Cup finale.
Yeah, and those replacements won't hurt England at all. We saw Mulhern's class earlier this week, and Ellie Green as well has looked very comfortable in the number 10 shirt, so they won't be worried about that. That'll be straight back to business.
This is Atwood getting forward just a little. Canada trying to ruck over that ball, see if they can win it out of there, but England picks it up, and they'll come now to the right. Good push forward there by this England side. They're coming at him hard here. England trying to score early in this second half. There's Eleanor Green. So Ellie Green, one of those subs that you talked about, 22 in white for England.
Good tackle from Maddie Gold there to stop them in their tracks.
Canada trying to regroup defensively.
Big hit from Hensiken. She's had 3 big hits today.
She has been on fire. Actually, you saw somebody took one of the hits from the first half and actually made a GIF and put it on Twitter.
Yeah, that was a little clip of one of Hannah Boderman's hits earlier on Lavallee. That was a big one. I missed that one live, and it was a good one. Check it out on my Twitter if you find it.
England, as they so often do, they can use the speed game, the kicking game, but they can also grind it out along the ground, and here they are trying to do it again. That's Beckett. She can carry it well when she has the chance, but now they move it to Perry. Perry already has a try.
There you go. Canada wins the penalty. Good pressure in defense, and they win the turnover, holding on the call at the breakdown. That's outstanding defense for Canada.
And you might have seen the camera shake for a moment. The Canadian coaching staff actually right next to us in this tented area, and whoever got excited stomped their foot, and it actually shook the floor and caused the tripod with the camera to shake. So the Canadian coaching excitement coming through in the shake of the camera. Just giving you kind of sense around at home. It's a new feature here on the live stream.
Not an earthquake. It's just raining out here. That was a very excitable group over just to the right of us. You can hear them screaming and yelling at every big play.
Carson waiting now the line out as there's a bit of a discussion here.
There's Harley Tucker up at the line out.
So Canada and a bit of a bobble there. Ball goes down, but it goes backward, so Canada can pick it up and move it forward. Nice little pass there. Good tackle by England. In on that tackle was Beckett as well as Green for Team England, but Canada continues to charge forward.
Powerful run from Val Wadesky. She's been impressive today.
Yeah, Wadesky very good right there, and Canada now will work it down the line to the left. That was Brantner who had it for a moment. She releases. Up off the ground by Geddes. And now Canada will use England's tactic, which is the kicking game. Nice to see Canada using that.
Annie Kennedy again stepping into first receiver and just putting that in, finding Green. It doesn't get caught on the full, so that's a good kick from Kennedy to find territory.
England with possession now as they cross midfield into the Canada side of the pitch. 15-5 is your score here. All the scoring done in the first half, as we're about 4.5 minutes into the second half, and there's England kicking it out for touch down that left field side.
And that's a mistake. It's gone straight into touch. It hasn't bounced before it's gone over the line. So that is a line out to Canada from where the ball is kicked from, which is just on their side of halfway. So we've got a replacement coming in now for Canada, number 22, Hannah Daniels, and she's replacing Lavalle. So Annie Kennedy will step forward into fly half, and Daniels will go back into, looks like she's stepping into the fullback position.
Speaking of replacements, we had someone tweet us out earlier. Now, because of the name on the Twitter account was Cooksey, and they're hoping to see Jessica Cooksey come into this game, I'm assuming it might be a family member, maybe even a parent.
Yeah, maybe Cooksey's not in the game yet, but would imagine we will see her at some point. There's a DeGoody. We talked about it earlier. You can see it. She just takes a look up at the defensive line as the ball is coming to her. You just got to concentrate on catching the ball first, and then you look at the defense. I mean, it's just a basic error, but it's just a natural reaction as well. You know that they're coming, and you want to see where they're coming. And maybe on a dry day, your hands would be a little bit more reliable, but that's just a small adjustment you've got to make in these conditions. It looks like the rain has actually let up a bit right now, but it's still definitely damp out there. Definitely. It's still going to be very wet, that ball.
As that English scrum, ball put in, starts to wheel around. Vivas gets it out quickly. And England down that sideline with some pace. A run, and they kick it forward now down to the corner. And a great job by DeGoody, almost like an outfielder in baseball, sliding to make a catch, slid along the turf to grab that ball.
That's when you practice a lot on a rainy day. Textbook pickup from her in England. They're penalized for not rolling away, so they must have just gone down on there and not allowed Canada to clear that ball quickly, so they're penalized. Canada will get a chance to clear. Interesting, that's DeGoody kicking for a touch, I think. Surprised that's not Annie Kennedy, but I guess if you're good enough, then you get the job. You don't see a lot of forwards kicking once you get up to this level of play.
So a line out for Canada. They are just inside the 22-meter mark on their side of the pitch. And Tucker, who got the yellow card earlier, goes up, but again, the referee didn't like what he saw.
Yeah, that ball wasn't straight. You can see Tucker just reaching too far to her side of the pitch, so that'll be a scrum to England on the 15-meter line. That's a great attacking position. You'll have to think that they'll either look for Beckett maybe to peel off the back, or maybe they'll hit up the middle with Phoebe Murray, who's a very hard line runner.
Now, I know we're only about 7 minutes or so into this second half, but we talked at the end of the first half about what you thought what adjustments might be made by both of these teams. From what you've seen here through the first 7+ minutes, are there any minor or major adjustments for either side that you've noticed?
No, I mean, they're both going through the same thing, but again, it's just a matter of limiting those mistakes. And, you know, Canada has really put themselves in this position with the knock-on earlier, and here at the line-out just not hitting their jumpers. So it's, you know, that's just something they've got to get right. You can't make mistakes at this level or you get punished heavily.
And picking up about 10 meters in that scrum was England, as they just calmly and crisply moved it down the field. And now, speaking of crisp, there's a good ball spun over, and they'll just kick it to the corner. And a jump ball there going off a couple of players, and I'm not sure who it touched last.
England were on advantage there, so ball wasn't caught cleanly, but it doesn't matter. England will have another shot. They'll pop this into the corner, take another line-out drive.
15-5 is your score. We're at the beautiful, revitalized Wanderers grounds in the heart of downtown Halifax, the capital city of of Nova Scotia, one of the Atlantic provinces on the eastern coast of Canada. I'm Scott Squires. My broadcast partner is Brian Ray. And Brian, while you got a sec, just tell folks how they can find you on Twitter and also the site that you write for.
Right, I'm with America's Rugby News, so it's pretty easy to find, americasrugbynews.com. You can find me at Twitter at Rays Rugby. That's RAYS Rugby. Pretty easy. Most Canadian rugby fans who are on Twitter will have a good idea where I am.
And I'm Scott_FFM, as in Firm Foundation Media, so reach out to us on Twitter. I know we've had certainly lots of fans of England rugby doing so, and we appreciate it. This scrum, and again, just how low they get down in that scrum. And just a big push there, and again, it starts to wheel a little bit to the left, and England gets it out of there. There's a bobble. Vivas did a good job of spinning with it. But again, it bounces free. Canada jumps on it first.
There's a mistake by England, and Canada will get a chance to clear.
There's DeGoody. We've seen her establish herself in the second half previously in this Tri-Nations Cup. She's had a couple of good sequences in this game, but typically a player that rises to the occasion in the second half when Canada needs her most.
Huge clear from Wodeski on Mulhern, and a little bit of afters there. I think that was Wilcock, the number 7, who took exception to it.
And Canada now just sees an opening. They'll kick it, but received well there by England. Good catch on a wet day. Releasing it, and that was Laughlin who made the good catch and then run. England, again, the kicking game coming into play. Oh, and a good job of catching that on the fly there. I believe that was Hogan.
Yeah, Asia Hogan did well, and she's done very well to ride through the tackle there, get a few extra meters, get some more territory.
Asia Hogan took a forearm up into the grill, but she's fine. And look at this run now. Look at the feet go. Look at the legs turn. Canada with some great speed there from Kennedy. And she then kicks it down the field and chases it down herself.
That's a great play. Not a lot of support with her, so she chooses the kick ahead, and England under huge pressure here.
So Canada now feeling the energy of the crowd. But it's turned over, and now England has that ball. Canada tries to recover.
Big stick from Maddie Gold again.
So here comes England.
Hard.
Coming right towards our broadcast position. Fake pass, run to the inside. Another fake pass. Here's a good run by Murray. Look at Murray go. Does she have enough space to get through? She gets around another tackle, cuts back to the right. How far can she go? And it's Beckett into the open corner. Is she down? She is.
Try is given. That's all Phoebe Murray with the line break. She just ripped through the line, past the fingertips of LaChance, and then just stepped through. And then Beckett, like a good number 8, trailing and into the corner. Her brother Charlie will like the looks of that. He was enjoying her performance the other day. Wow, that's a terrific score for England.
Well, first of all, absolutely a terrific score, but what a run by Phoebe Murray. There were 2 or 3 times I thought the run was done and Canada was going to bring her down. But she went left, she went right, she juked, she leaned forward, she stripped tackles, she cut it one way, back the other way, and then as you said, the great play by the 8 as Beckett stayed with her and gave her the option, and then Beckett had a pretty easy run into the end zone for the try.
Phoebe's a strong runner, and Canada may be just a little bit guilty of reaching a bit with the fingertips instead of getting a bit closer to her and really making that tackle, and you can see the effect it has. That was a terrific support line from Beckett to get there and make the corner. Well, that's from a powerful number 8 like that to be chasing down a line break from her center, that's really exceptional work.
Here's the conversion attempt. And
no good.
No good. Nice attempt, though, by Eleanor Green, as pretty sharp angle and a good distance to go. But Team England has another try, an electrifying run from Phoebe Murray. Great support from Sarah Beckett, and it ends up in a Beckett try and a 20-5 England lead over Canada.
England bringing in a couple more subs. I see Akina Gonway is out there now. I'm not sure who she has replaced yet. A couple more subs coming in now. See Val Wodeski coming off for Canada, and she'll be replaced by Amelia Hatfield, the local favorite. She's from Halifax, and plays for St. FX University.
What a moment for Amelia Hatfield. The crowd knowing that Amelia is a local player from the area, and a big round of applause when they announced her as the substitution. So her heart must be racing. 18 in red. What a moment playing for Canada in front of her hometown on the Wanderers grounds. But now it's England trying to steal some of that thunder.
That was a brilliant offload from Ellie Mulhern.
And there was Beckett getting it off to Dow, and then Abby Dow just kicks it down the field, and Canada tries to run onto it and pick it up, but they're very deep.
It's Abby Dow, the senior international. She's been quiet today, but that's a big play from her. The kick ahead and the pressure. Canada are forced to clear. They're right on their own, parked in their own goal line here.
So Canada, down on the bottom of the pile is Maddie Gold. Canada now will look to find an opening, and they'll just use the kick to clear it up the field. Taken well there by Green. She's looking to somewhere to get it to, and she spins it over to Laughlin. Now they'll pass it down the line. Good job there, cutting down that overlap. Bayesian didn't allow them to get some space on that left side. England will look to ruck over that ball, and they'll pick it up, and now they'll come back the other way.
Good leg drive from Harper in the tackle.
Amelia Harper with a good play there, and now England again works it down the line. There's Beckett. Passes it off to Dow. Here's Abby Dow. You said she's been quiet, but she's trying to be loud right here. And she carries it forward about 8 meters before she's dragged down by the Canadian tackle. Now they'll work it back toward the middle of the field. And I think Canada might have turned it over.
That was
on
Sophie
the ground.
DeGoody with the big pressure at the breakdown, just blasting England straight backwards. England only had one over the ball. DeGoody recognized that. She hit it hard, and now England have lost the ball forward. That'll be a scrum to Canada. So Gondway lining up at loosehead prop. It looks like she's replaced Elena Perry. Replacement now for Canada. They brought on Zoe Goodwin-Sutton. Didn't quite see who went off yet. She'll have gone into the second row.
So I think she might have come in for...
Substitution for
Well, we're here right now on the PA.
Number 19, Zoe Goodwin-Sutton.
Okay, they didn't announce who she replaced, but as you said, Zoe Goodwin-Sutton, 19 in red, into the match now for Canada.
Looks like Rhianna Manson on the blind side for England as well. She's taken off Charlie Wilcock.
Will end at the 70th minute of the game. So be sure to make your last trip to the concessions before.
And Canada again kicks it away, just trying to get some space between themselves and their own goal line. But Vivas picks it up, and she makes a run. Good tackle in the open field by Asia Hogan for Canada.
She's had a strong game today. She hasn't had a lot of chances to run in open space, though, and that's really her strength.
So Canada now, again, this is the most kicking we've seen from Canada all tournament.
Great kick from Kennedy. Put it in behind. You know, that's what they want. But the return from Laughlin. Asia's got a bit of space here. Off her foot. It's okay. Play on. Oh, I think that's a harsh call.
And I think the Canadian coaches to our right kind of agreed with you.
Oh, Mr. Jones, if you're watching the replay on this later, I'm going to ask you about this one after the game. Of course, he's a sort of a local. He's an East Coaster. He's from Prince Edward Island, so he'll be used to this this weather today. Probably maybe a couple of his friends in the stands today. One of Canada's promising referees on the national panel. He's had a good game today. I'll give him a little stick about that one after the game, though. I
Of
disagree.
course.
I don't think that was a knock-on.
You've got plenty of experience. You a referee, so I will defer any comments like that to you because you would certainly have more swag to be able to make those comments than I do. Here's a good run now for England down the side. Again, Canada has done well with their tackling here today as well, Brian.
They've done very well with the tackling, with the defense. It's not the tackling that's let them down. It's just the little mistakes, and the difference really has been the kicking game of England. They've owned the territory because of that. So, you know, Canada's been forced to defend so much. And that's a great turnover. Who was that who won that one? I think it might have been Mackenzie Carson at the breakdown winning that. They've won a few at the breakdown. That's again, that's pleasing. Their defense has certainly lived up to what the coaches will have wanted.
So I think we might have another sub coming here. I'm not sure.
Well, they're calling for a scrum. Well, that's very... I'm a bit stunned with this.
Fans, time to pull out your
Canada calling for a scrum on their own 22 with the penalty. I can't even remember the last time I've seen a decision like this. They've obviously decided they're not going to gain enough territory in their lineout. It hasn't gone well enough. So instead they're going for the scrum, but England's been pressuring them there. So this is a very surprising call for me.
Well, in England, not to take anything away from Canada, but England can be and has been so dominant in the scrums. All the games they've played here on this tour of Canada, it's just been so impressive to watch just how powerful they are and how they are able to control the scrum.
And they haven't lost anything with Boderman going off. Mulhern was absolutely outstanding the other day against the United States. So, I mean, it's a big gamble here. If Canada collapses, I mean, they could concede a penalty right in the, you know, in front of the sticks. And, that's a bad place to give one away. So I'm very surprised at this decision.
Sasha Geddes taps, and it's in. Let's see. They get it out quickly. No, they don't. I thought it popped out, and now it does. DeGoody gets it off quickly. So England defending down the line. Canada trying to charge it forward. Now that ball will ruck. Good fight for it in there, but it's Canada who comes away. And a tackle on the far side as Cunningham was in there to try to stop the ball carrier, but a penalty, I think, and Canada takes the advantage and goes quickly with it. Ooh, and a drop right there.
Yeah, Marigold just lost the ball in contact. It'll be a scrum to England. But there again, you know, because they opted for that scrum in their own end and they just haven't made a lot of territory, they give the ball right back to England in scoring territory. So, I mean, I'm really mystified by that decision by Canada not to do something else, anything else really. Even if you tap the ball quickly and just hoof the ball down the middle of the park, that seems like a better decision than opting for a scrum in that situation. England bringing on their reserve hooker.
Time on.
I think that's Connie Powell.
So 16 in white into the game. Connie Powell. Want to say hello to Allison Cox, sending us out a tweet saying she's loving watching the U20s tri-tournament. Commentary has made it even better. Thanks from across the pond. Well, Allison, we appreciate it. Brian and I are having a great time here, and we're certainly glad that you're able to watch on a Saturday evening in England. It's just past 5:20 p.m. here in Halifax, Nova Scotia. That's Atlantic time, and here's another big run for England down the field. It's Abby Dow, and Abby Dow, I think she's in. You mentioned she's quiet earlier, but like DeGoody can do for Canada, Abby Dow can get it going in a heartbeat, and she does right there. A great run of about 20 meters, and she's in for another England try.
All it takes is an opportunity, and you know, you give a scrum away in that position of the field. England got the push forward. Dow just coming in off her wing to create the extra attacker, confuse the Canadian defense. She's straight through, shows her turn of pace. You're not going to stop her when you give her that kind of a green in front of her. It's just a race to the line. There was no way she was going to be stopped with that kind of opportunity, and there we go. 5 points on the board, and probably 7. You have to think if who's lining this one. It looks like Ellie Green's taking over the kicking.
Nice little sachet as she goes through her routine here to get set for this conversion attempt.
There's Jessica Cooksey coming into the field. So who was it who's tweeting us earlier? Maybe
well,
her mother
we think
watching.
it might be her mom.
Well, she'll be happy. Laughlin going off the field. Cooksey will come on. Looks like is she going to go to fullback? Looks like she's going to go to wing, actually, and Abby Dow will move to fullback.
So we got that tweet earlier from Ruth Cooksey saying that she'd be watching. Well, you got your wish, Ruth. Jessica is into the game. So the convert is good. 2 more on the board for England. They extend that lead now. And as Canada gets ready to kick off, I mentioned this actually in one of the Eastern Canadian Rugby Championship games I was doing, that one team was kind of taking over. But when I'm doing a team play-by-play like this, and I find that I'm getting a bit of a stiffness in one side of my neck from looking one way a lot, the left side of my neck getting a little sore because I've kind of been looking to the right for most of this half, because, Brian, England has pretty much had the dominance of the play in the Canadian end of the field through the first 22 minutes plus in this half.
They have, and it's just down to the mistakes from Canada and that weird decision that they made, and maybe not just not having that big kicking game that England has. But Canada now on the attack. They've won a penalty. Geddes took it quick, and now they're putting pressure on England. But England have done well to slow them down here at the breakdown. They'll just reset their defense.
So Canada tries to work it down the line. Mackenzie Carson had the ball in her hands for a moment. So let's see if Canada can make something go here with the ball in the England side of the pitch. This is DeGoody. If anybody can get it going for Canada, it is the captain.
Hard to run through 2 tacklers, though, both when they're going low like that. Here's LaChance. She hasn't had many opportunities today. We saw her speed 2 tries the last time we saw her play, but she just hasn't had the ball at all really today.
Yeah, Sedamo LaChance. She's got speed, but she was stopped there. And again, Canada trying to work it forward. It's DeGoody, and it's picked off the ground by Geddes. Canada trying desperately to figure out a way to get through this staunch England defense.
Back! I'd like to see Canada hitting the line with a little bit more pace. They're just, they're passing it behind that advantage line a little bit too much, and it's allowing that England defense to get up and shut them down behind the gain line. As you can see here, they're just stuffed. They can't get any momentum from that. I'd like to see some hard runs at the line.
England just taking any time and space away from these Canadian ball carriers. Anytime they try to pass it one way or the other, an England player or 2 or 3 is there, and you see it again.
Yeah, these static 1-out passes are just not going to cut it. There's lots of space in behind. If they want to kick into the corner, it's there. And they're just not looking for it. Here's Geddes. She really likes these quick taps, and she's keeping England's defense going, but she's really been making the territory for Canada here. But now it's slowed down again.
Canada spinning with it. That was Carson. Ooh, gets it into the hands of Maud Lachance. Nice offload there. Here's a good run for Canada. Stepping to the inside, it's Tucker. And she offloads it again. Canada getting some deep penetration.
Beautiful show and go from Tucker.
Back foot, back.
Canada very close now.
Canada working through their phase as well. And look who it is. DeGoody, can she get there? Stopped there by Galligan for England. Canada will try to work it down the line now. Carson tries to bull forward. She's taken down. Canada tries to ruck over top of that ball. Looking for somewhere to go. They go to the left. And there's the hometown girl, Hatfield. Wouldn't this be something of Amelia Hatfield? A memory of a lifetime if she could get it in, but now it's worked the other way. Canada forward again with Brantner. Lots of different players getting a try here for Canada to move it forward, but it's England shutting it down at all openings. Can they get there this time? It's bobbled for a moment. Where is it? It's down. All kinds of players there. Canada keeps it going down the line. Some quick passes and an overlap on the right side. And in for the try. It's number 12. Maddie Gold is golden again for Canada.
Well, that's a fantastic try for Canada. They went through the phases. DeGoody did oh so well to hold on to the ball. It looked like she was going to bobble it forward at just a critical time, but they held on to it. Quick hands through the back line, finds the space. Maddie Gold into the corner. Great try for Canada.
Well, Canada certainly showing their mettle there. It's been a tough half. They've been on their heels most of this half. England has kept them hemmed in their own end in the Canada side of the field, but they worked through some great phases. They tried several different points of entry. England kept shutting it down, but finally they found a bit of an overlap onto the right side. Couple of quick passes, some nice offloads in those phases, and it's Maddie Gold who punches it in, and that is a big moment for Canada.
Yeah, I was thinking they just needed some quick ball. England's been doing really well at slowing the ball down, but it was just quick enough, and nice hands from Annie Kennedy playing at fly half right now to shift that ball quickly and make the space for Maddie Gold, loitering on the wing like a good center to finish that one off.
And that is well struck for the convert, so Canada has now crossed over into double digits, and the lead 27-12 now for England, but Canada with a bit of life, and now England is going to have to kick the ball right back to this Canadian squad, and the crowd here at Wanderers grounds energized as we reach the 66-minute and 47-second mark.
That was Sophie DeGoody kicking the conversion as well. Rare to see, forwards kicking for the line, and then she's kicking for posts as well. What an exceptional talent. And then she takes the restart. She's doing everything out there today.
What can she do? She's probably going to cook the meal for the team afterwards.
What a talent. Courtney Holtkamp, the flanker, has already been capped at senior level. You'd have to think Sophie isn't far behind after the kinds of efforts that we've seen over the past couple weeks.
So a scrum on the Canadian side of the pitch. They're energized by that Maddie Gold try. But it's an England scrum here as we've played 27.5 minutes of this second 40.
England showing their depth in the front row. We saw Powell and Mulhern both outstanding, and Akina Gondwe as well. She's quite mobile in the loose, but they're just they bring these replacements on, and there's no difference at all in the scrum. If anything, it might even be improvement the way they're going.
So here comes the bind. That's when they hook up, and then as soon as they say set, the referee will make sure it's fair, and then England now will roll it in. And ball free there for a moment. Picked up, and now it's Virves. She'll just kind of scrape it along the ground down into the corner. Tough angle for us here where we're set up to try to get a camera shot down into that corner.
Looks like she's found the touch line. That's a nice play from Virves. A nice play as well by Beckett at number 8, showing just soft hands. A big, powerful number 8 like her, she might think she just want to crash forward, but to have the sense to just give it to the 9, and Virves, pins Canada right back on their own goal line again at this line out. That just keeps them, They just scored points, and now they're right on their goal line. That's tough psychologically to deal with that. Good take there from Brantner at the line out.
So the maul right out of that lineup. England does this so very well. But Canada comes away with it, and it's Geddes who kicks it forward, and it goes off the hands of Jessica Cooksey.
Now there's Cooksey making the same mistake we saw earlier from Bazian. She didn't turn her body. She took that straight on, and it bounced off straight forward. There's the knock-on scrum to Canada. Basics just letting them down. You can hear Beckett just trying to rev up her team.
Big smile on the face of Harley Tucker there. Listen, yes, Canada wants to win, but you just get the feeling that this Canadian side is having an absolute blast in these international games. And playing here in Halifax on the Wanderers grounds in front of the hometown fans, what a thrill for Canada.
Yeah, it's a terrific setting, never mind the rain. But, you know, the crowd's pretty good that's come out here. They're very receptive. They've been very loud, the ones that are here. So, you know, I'm sure they're enjoying themselves. You don't get many opportunities to play for your country, especially in home soil.
Well, I know for me, certainly in my career of broadcasting, this is one of the most excited times I've ever been, getting to come here to this beautiful, revamped and refurbished Wanderers grounds and calling it international rugby match, Canada, England, a wonderful crowd on hand. Getting it to call it with someone like yourself that is absolutely an expert in the game of rugby makes that my job that much easier. So it's been a wonderful day all around, not only on the field, Brian, but up here in the broadcast booth.
Yeah, I'm super pleased we haven't been completely soaked up. It was great to see the tarp waiting for me.
So off of that play, Canada comes away with it. Let's see now if they can use the energy from that Maddie goal try moments ago to keep pushing forward here. They're feeling a little better about themselves, I'm sure, our team Canada. England, of course, well, they're deep, they're good. They won't panic, and they are still leading.
There's another case of just taking your eye off the ball. I'm sure there'll be, when they do the stats for this game, they'll put that up on the wall and say, look, this is the number of times that we should have caught the ball, and we didn't. And we just got a replacement coming on here. Looks like Maya Montiel coming on, replacing Idia Hensiken. I always mess up her last name. Apologies. And also Celia Martinson coming on. She's shooting into the second row there, I think. She was playing flanker earlier in this tournament, rather. So she's probably less happy in the second row in a day full of scrums, but you got to go where you're sent.
So this scrum, about 15 meters on the Canadian side of midfield. Ball is out, and look who's got it again. Beckett. She's played so well in this game. Gets it off to Vivas. And Vivas stripped along the sideline again. Asia Hogan was there, and her great game continues. 11 in red for Canada. Asia Hogan, she's played exceptionally well.
She really has, doing all the little things well, which is what you want to do in a day like this. She's making her tackles. You know, she's fighting through tackles when she has the ball. You know, it's just that's really what you want to see from your winger on a day like this when they don't get a lot of opportunities, on, you know, like on a dry day where it's all sprinting.
And a player trying to get the number on England, just getting a little attention there from the athletic therapist. Looked to be just maybe stretching out a cramp or something. So back up and into the play. That was number 4, Rosie Galligan, just getting a bit of attention, but she's fine and play right back underway.
Yeah, that second row of England, Galligan and Cunningham have been very good today. Strong combination.
Canada trailing here by 15, but they've got the last try of the game, and they are feeling energized. Now they'll make a couple of quick passes down that line, trying to work it forward, but again, England recovering well defensively. Canada now will work it back to their left. Good tackle there by Green for England. Good pass, spun a long way there and well received by Canada. Always enjoy seeing those long passes that are so well spun. You make the catch, you carry it on. Now Canada will use that kicking game once again as Annie Kennedy. She's had that right foot going in this half.
Offside.
And I think England offside on that.
Knock on offside, the call we saw earlier on DeGoody.
Again, Canada tries to kick it forward, but it's England receiving it cleanly now, and they'll go on offense.
Annie Kennedy made with the right idea, but the kick just went a little bit shorter than what she had intended, and England gets the chance to kick it away as Atwood does there with her trusty left boot.
England says anything you can do, I can do as well, as they now kick it down the field, but here comes Canada.
Here's
Charging
Asia
up the
Hogan.
middle. Yeah, Asia Hogan's nice day continues. Spun over there. Geddes works it up again. Canada trying to work that ball forward. Good forward thrust there. Good leg drive, but Canada gets it out to Goody. Sneaky little pass, little give and go. Now it's offloaded to Carson. Canada slowly but surely working their way toward midfield. Up again, one pass. There's two to the left side. That bounces, but it goes right to Hogan. Look at Asia Hogan. Cuts it back to the right. Good tackle there by the flanker Harper for England. So Canada now will try to work it back the other way to Goody. Almost had her right shoe ripped off, but she rolls ahead. Ball comes free for a minute. And it looks, well, I thought England might win it out of that pile for a second. And a kind of a scrappy ruck, and the ball tried to be kicked away. And I think it was Kennedy who blocked it.
That was actually Maddie Gold. Oh, no, it wasn't. My mistake. That looks like that was number 19, Zoe Goodwin-Sutton, who got the charge down.
So what a wild and woolly sequence the last 30 or 40 seconds here, and trying to clear it up and move it ahead is Holtkamp for Canada.
Courtney Holtkamp taking it on. She's carried well today.
Canada now to the right side. Do they have an overlap to the right? Trying to charge down on that side. Making a run, trying to get support was Hannah Daniels for Canada.
We need quick ball here.
There's the pass over to that corner.
Celia Martinson.
Ball pops free.
Nice attack from Canada, but just fizzles out at the end because of the knock-on. But the pressure's still there. England will have to clear. If Canada can put pressure on the scrum and maybe restrict how much territory they get on this kick, they'll still have a strong attacking line out. Replacement scrum half on for England. Brooke Bradley coming on.
England substitution, Brooke Bradley.
27-12 is your score.
Taking off Ella Virves, who's had a very good game for England.
You see the time up in the upper left corner in that scoreboard. We are coming up to about 5 minutes of regular time left here. Of course, that's our straight clock time. The referee has final say. Don't know how much he'll add on, but you know there'll be a bit. Canada could use points here on this push into the England end of the pitch.
Good scrum from England.
So now it's England.
Ellie Green, there it is. She's under pressure. She's squibbed the kick. This is an opportunity for Canada.
So now Canada takes that kick. There's Asia Hogan. Hogan passes it to number 13, Lachance. And Hogan gets it right back.
England
trying to get
well.
some little support from behind there. Canada now off to the left. Bayesian. Bayesian tackled. Maud Lachance comes in to support from behind with a couple of her mates. No, that was Maddie Gold, 12, not 13.
Amelia Harper just making a mess at the breakdown. She's knocked it on, but she's prevented Canada from getting that counterattack away. If it got it back to the right, there was some space. So important play there from Harper, the flanker. Canada still have an attacking line out here just outside the 22. So let's see what they try and do here. They've been doing well if they can move the ball. And with the rain gone now, it might be just a little bit drier out there. Maybe they'll try and stretch the England defense once again.
Canada, off the fingertips on that line out. England takes advantage and they get the ball back. England now, I'm sure, is just going to want to grind this out here and keep possession. They don't want to give Canada any glimpse of hope.
Yeah, another good pressure again by DeGoody at the breakdown, and that sent England backwards. You'd have to think they'll look to clear it. Well, they're going to pick again, but...
Here's Goodwin-Sutton. She's made a nice impact since she's checked into the game, 19 in red for Canada, and I'm sure Canada is going to throw everything at England here in the final few minutes of this one, not only to try and get some points, but also they're energized and they want to put on a big show in the last few minutes here in front of this very partisan Canadian crowd. Of course, England, well, they've been here before. They're just going to calmly go through their paces and do everything they can to not allow Canada to get more points on the board.
This has been Canada's best continued stretch of the game, really, and you could see Atwood before that was called, screaming for the ball. She was going to clear it, but she still might from this scrum, but this is good from Canada again. Try and put pressure on them at the scrum, try and mess up that delivery from the scrum half. Brooke Bradley to Atwood, who's standing straight behind the scrum. She'll look to kick that off her left boot. Ellie Green, the option to the left. the right-footed option. That's always nice to have an option off both the right and the left. We'll see what they do, but it looks like Atwood will be the preferred target. Of course, they are outside the 22, so they can't kick it straight over the line. That's a great scrum from Canada.
Indeed, it started to wheel a little to the left, and then Canada got a real good thrust and push forward. And I think they've won that in there.
They have. It's a knock-on. That's exactly what they wanted. They put the pressure on the scrum. England just knocked it on at the back, and that is a scrum to Canada, and you cannot ask for a better attacking position.
I want to say hello to Claire Brophy, who's watching. She says she's loved the commentary over the 3 games. She's watching from Bristol, England, and of course supporting England rugby women, and especially the Bristol Bears and Jessica Cooksey. And she does confirm, does Claire, that Ruth is indeed the proud mom of Jessica. So thanks a lot, Claire. Nice to have you watching. We're glad that you're tuned in.
Lots of Bristol players out there right now. Hold. Ellie Mulhern at tight head prop. She's one of their big prospects coming through.
Canada, as you said, they've had some good things going here in the last 5 or 6 minutes, and definitely since that Maddie Gold try, just a little extra spring in the step of Canada. Here they come again. Carson tried to cut it to the inside. That ball lifted up high and now bounced to the ground, handled well there by Tucker, and here's Hogan.
Oh, she did so well to stay in. I love that. So she didn't try and take the corner. She stayed in bounds. That keeps the ball alive, and Canada still have a chance here.
Nice fake pass and then cut to the middle by Annie Kennedy. She's had a good game as well for Canada. Here they come again. Here's Maddie Gold. Gold shrugs off a tackle, goes into a pile. Maddie Gold gets some meters there, and now Canada works it again. This is Montiel. Good phases here by Canada as they push it down deep. They'll pick it up now and go the other way. Nice little step to the inside by DeGoody. Does she have an opening? She offloads it. Another quick pass off to the side. Off to the races. It's Daniels. And Daniels is in. Another tremendous phase by Canada as they work the ball down the line. 1 pass, 2 pass, 3 passes, and it's into the end zone, and Canada has 5 more.
And what a cutout pass from Mackenzie Carson, the hooker. She plays fly half out at UVic, here playing hooker for Canada. So all the skills in the world, she shows it there with the cutout pass to Daniels into the corner. What a try for Canada. They back their speed and their attacking play on the outside. They stretch them again. They're into the corner. What an ending to the game this is for Canada. I think that's going to bring on the final whistle, but you couldn't ask for a better way to end the game.
And my goodness, Hannah Daniels, what a moment for her subbing on in this half. You saw a look at the crowd who were absolutely thrilled. And as we are at full time, as you see, it may not be enough in the end for Canada, but my goodness, what a way to finish here. You want something positive to build on. You want something great. Full credit to England. They've been class all game long. Full credit and marks to them for their 27 points. But my goodness, certainly the last 10 or 12 minutes, Canada has shown their mettle and shown what they can do, and have shown the fans of Canadian rugby what's up and coming.
Kick just goes under the crossbar, and there is the final whistle. So the final score here, England 27, Canada 17. England will be very pleased with their performance to take the win, but Canada as well. You know, they were out of the pump. They were down 27-5 to come back and score those 2 tries in the second half. Played really strong in the last quarter in front of a great home crowd here. They'll be very pleased with that. And their defense really has to take a bow. Their defense has been exceptional today. Those tries that they did give away were from set pieces and little mistakes.
And we're going to stay live here. Don't go anywhere. There's going to be a medal presentation as well as the Tri-Nations Cup presentation. So we're going to stay with you and show you that. You just saw the England side celebrating. But what a tremendous couple of weeks of rugby, Brian. This Tri-Nations Cup, exciting rugby. Wonderful to see the United States, Canada, and England coming together to play this series of games. And we were treated to some electrifying rugby over the matches that we covered.
Oh, absolutely. What a great thing to have. You don't get rugby at this level in this area very often. And to have the Canada-USA men's game earlier this summer, and then this tournament, which has just been exceptional. And it's not over. The Canadian Women's University Finals, the U Sports Finals, are going to be at Acadia University later. I think that's November, early November coming up. So just a great year for rugby in this stretch of Canada. Atlantic Canada very passionate about their rugby. Nova Scotia in particular is just gaining in popularity. But yeah, what a terrific couple weeks of rugby to cap this off with a great day of rugby here despite the rain. Well done.
Certainly want to congratulate Rugby Canada. And there's a nice look at that shot right there. What more do you want to wrap up this Tri-Nations Cup, to see the home team in front of their home fans, saluting the fans, the fans saluting right back. And you know what, Brian? A tip of the rugby cap to the hardy fans who came out here today and filled that far side bleachers at the Wanderers grounds. They were treated to an excellent rugby match here today.
They really were. What a great occasion to come out here at this terrific facility. You can see Asia Hogan just jumping around there. She's excited. She had a great game today. The fans certainly got what they wanted for those who came out, and for those watching. I hope they were entertained. We were certainly entertained. It was a really exciting match.
Do you know who was really entertained? Bar none. Charlie Beckett. Last tweet from Charlie. He says 3 for 3 for England rugby women's U20s out in Canada with a hand clap. Unbelievable effort from the whole squad. He says he really couldn't be a prouder big brother if he tried. And he says, Sarah Beckett, you are a legend. And he thanks us for the great coverage throughout the tournament. Listen, Charlie, not only you, but all of the fans, particularly the partisan and wonderful fans of this England side. You were tremendous throughout the tournament. The interaction via social media and Twitter was wonderful. I thank each and every one of you. And I hope someday, when I'm lucky enough to make a trip across the pond to the UK, that I'll be able to come over into your kitchen and have a beverage. How's that sound? You can come too, Brian.
Watch your language, Charlie. Himself a former England under-20 player playing in the Jersey Island, a professional player, so he certainly knows what he's watching out here.
And there you see the Tri-Nations Cup, a brand new trophy. Let's hope that this becomes a rugby tradition in this part of Canada. Wouldn't that be wonderful?
We'd love to have it back. What a terrific couple weeks it's been. Despite the rain, never let the rain get you down when you have great athletes out there. Some of the best in the world at this level. Just amazing to see.
So again, what a performance by England. They came as advertised, fast, strong, deep, and just quality. But for this Canada side, they certainly held their own against a talented England rugby squad. And I think, as I mentioned a moment ago, I think this is only a good sign of things to come for women's rugby in Canada.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you have to take this into context. You look at that England side. Hannah Botterman, playing number 3 today, started playing rugby at 4 years old. Phoebe Murray, the captain, started at 6. In Canada, I mean, some of these girls, Asia Hogan has only been playing for a couple years. She was converted in high school. So, I mean, just a huge disparity in experience between the two sides. So to see this, our athletes, the Canadian athletes, making up for that just with, determination, grit, and their athleticism, and just they've learned so much in such a short amount of time. It's great to see. It's really impressive and great for the future of the women's game in Canada and all over the world. To see, some of these young women will go on to play in the World Cups and in the Olympics. We'll see some of these, I'm sure, in that. So just amazing to see this level of competition.
So you see this England squad getting the medals for winning the Tri-Nations Cup, winning this game today. We'll just go, again, we'll go down the roster for this England side. Elena Perry, Leah Bartlett, Hannah Botterman, Rosie Galligan, Holly Cunningham, Amelia Harper, Charlie Wilcock, Sarah Beckett, Ella Vivas, Lucy Atwood, Lillian Stoger-Goddard, Phoebe Murray, Laggy Tuima, Abigail Dow, Victoria Laughlin, Connie Powell, Datisha Harper, Ellie Mulhern, Akina Gondwe, Rihanna Manson, Brooke Bradley, Eleanor Green, and Jessica Cooksey. It was a pleasure to have England here in Nova Scotia, in Canada, for this Tri-Nations Cup. I had a chance to talk to several of the team management, coaches, and some of the players. Just a wonderful bunch. And Team Canada, we see Team England there posing for the team photo. This Team Canada side, Idia Iesiken, Mackenzie Carson, Val Wadesky, Abby Duguid, Keegan Brantner, Harley Tucker, Courtney Holtkamp, Sophie DeGoody, who I believe was the player of the match for Canada in this one, Sasha Geddes, Tusani Lavalley, Asia Hogan, Madison Gold, Sarah Maud Lachance, Brooke Bazian, Annie Kennedy, Erica Barton, Maya Montiel, Amelia Hatfield, Zoe Goodwin-Sutton, Allison McDougall, Celia Martinson, Hannah Daniels, and Rachel Hickson. a lot of very good rugby talent out on the field between these two sides right now.
Absolutely. De Goede, I guess, gets the player of the game. And you know, England really was a team effort. It had so many good players out there. Hard to pick any. So, you know, nothing wrong, certainly, with choosing De Goede, who was absolutely immense for Canada in the losing effort. You know, if you were looking at a player of the tournament, De Goede would be up there. Certainly Beckett as well for England. She was outstanding.
And there you see Team Canada, I'm sure, talking about this experience, talking about, you know, there you see them again saluting the fans, and there's England. They just hoisted the Tri-Nations Cup moments ago. So that wraps up things here from the Wanderers grounds in Halifax. It's been a tremendous day today. It was wet, it was windy, it was wild at times, but it did not stop the enthusiasm of the crowd. It did not stop the action on the field, and it certainly didn't stop our enjoyment here today. We want to thank all of the teams who participated in the Tri-Nations Cup, and certainly thank everyone from Rugby Canada, Rugby Nova Scotia, England Rugby, Rugby USA, and Rugby Canada, as well as the fine folks at Sports and Entertainment Atlantic. On behalf of our technical producer and camera operator, Brian Fisher, and of course my great partner, Brian Ray. He did a fantastic job. Brian, thank you very much. I'm Scott Squires saying again, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for your interaction. It's been an absolute pleasure. Once again, your final score, England defeats Canada 27-17 in the finale, and they do indeed capture the Tri-Nations Cup. Take care wherever you are, and so long from the Wanderers grounds in Halifax.